Why California, a state in the United States, is richer than most countries. If California were a country, it would immediately be a global force to be reckoned with. It is no secret that California is the largest and most productive state in the United States. Between Silicon Valley, Hollywood, agriculture, and tourism, there is plenty to be excited about in the Golden State. California's GDP in 2023 was $3.8 trillion, representing 14% of the total U.S. economy. If California were a nation, it would rank in terms of nominal GDP as the world's sixth largest economy, behind India, $4.27 trillion, and ahead of the United Kingdom, $3.588 trillion. Additionally, California's Silicon Valley is home to some of the world's most valuable technology companies, including Apple, Alphabet, and NVIDIA. In total, 8 of the Fortune 100 companies and 57 of the Fortune 500 companies are headquartered in California. California's gross state product, GDP, as of 2024 was $4.080 trillion, and in the next 2 years, 2025 and 2026, will be characterized by a more typical, higher than U.S. economic growth, led by technology and aerospace. In terms of military power, California has the most active duty service members out of any state in the U.S., plus one of the largest nuclear weapons research and manufacturing facilities in the world. Plus, some of the world's most influential companies reside in California. Disney, Apple, Google, Facebook, and Wells Fargo, to name a few. For portfolio investors, California shareholders have performed exceptionally well. If California were an independent nation, there is little doubt that it would do quite well on a global stage. If we were to list the 50 states by economic output, it would be easy to see how dominant California really is. James W. Marshall discovered gold at Sutter's Mill in Coloma, California on January 24, 1848. The gold rush attracted hundreds of thousands of people from around the world, from Latin America, Europe, Australia, and China. Agriculture and ranching expanded throughout the state to meet the needs of the settlers. San Francisco. The gold rush led to social and demographic changes, including the depopulation of indigenous tribes. The news of gold brought approximately 300,000 people to California from the rest of the United States and abroad. The sudden influx of gold into the money supply reinvigorated the American economy. The sudden population increase allowed California to go rapidly to statehood in the Compromise of 1850. The gold rush had severe effects on Native Californians and accelerated the Native American population's decline from disease, starvation, and the California genocide. After the finding of extensive gold deposits in California, the California Gold Rush started in 1848. Commerce and economic activity in California initially centered around the vastly expanded cities of San Francisco, San Jose, and Sacramento, as they scrambled to supply the hordes of gold miners. Meanwhile, Los Angeles initially remained a less populated settlement with fewer than 5,000 residents. So, what is California's secret? Is it the weather, Silicon Valley, Hollywood, the higher wage rates? No, it is none of these, though these are certainly impacting the state's economic output. The single biggest factor driving California's economic success is the size of its population. The correlation between these two factors is a staggering 98.4%. Yes, Vermont has the smallest economic output, but that can be explained by the fact that only 647,000 people reside in the state, whereas California has 38.6 million people. California's population has been declining for 3 years in a row. 2020, California's population shrank for the first time since at least 1900. 2021, California lost 407,663 people. 2022, California lost 341,866 people. Factors contributing to the decline include a sharp increase in residents moving to other states, fewer births, higher deaths, lower international migration, and growth in remote work. The economy of California is varied, with many sizable sectors. The most dominant of these sectors include finance, business services, government technology, trade, media, tourism, agriculture, and manufacturing. Much of the economic activity is concentrated in the coastal cities, especially Los Angeles, which has a relative focus on media, most notably Hollywood, and the San Francisco Bay Area, which predominantly concentrates on technology. Both cities, along with other major ports such as San Diego, also act as significant trade hubs to and from the United States. Furthermore, California's agriculture industry has the highest output of any U.S. state, with its Central Valley being one of the most productive agricultural regions on Earth, growing over half the country's fruits, vegetables, nuts, grapes, cotton, flowers, and oranges. California produces the major share of U.S. domestic wine. California's farms are highly productive as a result of good soil, a long growing season, the use of modern agricultural methods, and extensive irrigation. Irrigation is critical since the long dry summers would not allow most crops to grow here. California Indians had almost no agriculture because of this. Extensive and expensive irrigation systems, including furrow gravity irrigation, sprinkler and drip irrigation systems, have been developed to supply the extensive irrigation needs of California. Illegal immigration to the United States has been traditionally drawn to the state, in part because corporations face intense pressure to control labor costs. While California is the top agricultural producing state in the U.S., it only represents less than 2% of the state's GDP. However, according to the California Department of Food and Agriculture, California agriculture is a $54 billion industry that generates at least $100 billion in related economic activity. Of course, there are other factors that drive economic growth, such as education levels, entrepreneurial business environment, availability of capital, and the presence of financial advisory services in cities like San Diego. But these are topics for another day. I simply want to highlight the biggest driving force of the U.S. state's economic output levels: population. If we classify California's economy by its different industries, here is how they contribute as a percentage of the total. While the state has recently seen its population decline as California residents have changed their residency and moved to other states, its overall GDP has grown with its heavy reliance on finance, real estate, and professional services. While California has a diverse economy, it is not so diverse that it can continue to rely on its historically large GDP. While its population continues to decline, agriculture is one of the prominent elements of the state's economy. California leads the nation in the production of fruits, vegetables, wines, and nuts. The state's most valuable crops are cannabis, bee nuts, grapes, cotton, flowers, and oranges. California produces the major share of U.S. domestic wine. Dairy products contribute the single largest share of farm income. California's farms are highly productive as a result of good soil, a long growing season, the use of modern agricultural methods, and extensive irrigation. Tourism is also an important part of California's economy. Yosemite National Park was established in 1890, followed by 9 other national parks and seashores, as well as various other protected areas across California. California also pioneered numerous innovations in retailing during the mid-20th century, particularly fast food restaurants and credit cards. Nationwide fast food chains A&W Restaurants, 1919, McDonald's, 1940, Taco Bell, 1961, and Panda Express, 1983, were all founded in California. Like, follow, and subscribe to this page to learn more.